Do we have a mic drop? Do we have some kind of like music mic for this?
The truth shall set you free.
Lying season or not?
Everybody's lying.
Nobody tells me ahead of time when there's something sexy like
liar.
that. That was a big one. All right, lying season or not. Ron Carthon, Tennessee Titans GM, when asked if he's received phone calls for Derrick Henry, this is what he had to say.
Have you received calls about Derrick?
No. I mean, there's things I want to say that I won't because I got Robbie standing to my left. I mean, it is what it is. It's a part of the job. I know people have their job to do, to speculate and, put things out and hope that it sticks and hope that they're right. All our dealings are with the players, and our players know where we stand with them. And so it's not a need to kind of touch on it. And if there's something that comes up, we'll address it as it comes. But I don't feel the need to kind of discuss, their personal business publicly.
Okay, he said he did not receive any phone calls for Derrick Henry. Lying season or not, Amy Trask?
Well, I could go all lawyer on you, and I could say, your question is, did he receive any phone calls on Derrick? Maybe he received phone calls that weren't about Derrick, but the Derrick topic came up later in the phone call. So there is a way to parse this, that the answer could be no and yes and yes and no. But I'm going to play the game, and I'm going to say that's the gospel truth.
Wow, you think so?
I believe him. Now, there you go. I believe him. It may be that he hinted around on those calls. Maybe he got some calls on other topics and then started hinting a little bit. Maybe not, but I'm going gospel truth.
Chris, you think so? I think that's crazy. Someone had to call him.
I think it's absolutely crazy. I think
I just got called crazy.
Derrick,
you're not crazy.
You're not crazy.
This is crazy.
It's lying.
You're not crazy.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's telling the truth.
You know more than we do. We're idiots. We're just opining over here. We're just basically lighting the media fire over here.
It's lying season. The Titans are not making the playoffs this year. Let's be honest.
It is lying season. I agree with you. I just don't think he's lying.
Ryan Tannehill probably won't be the quarterback in 2024, and so you're not just going to let these guys walk. You got to get something for your assets while you can, while they still have value.
Right.
And so what better value than just getting rid of Derrick Henry? Maybe get a second and a third back, and then you can reload for whoever the quarterback of your future is. There's no way no one called. Buffalo didn't call. Philly didn't call. Come on now. I don't believe that.
I think you guys are never going to want to play this game with me again because I am going to go all, Al Davis used to say, well, you know how she is with words because I'm very particular about listening to words. The question wasn't asked of him, have you had any discussions about Derrick? It was, have you received any calls on Derrick? Maybe he didn't receive him. Maybe he initiated him. Then he's not lying.
When we make the board game, you're going to have the gavel, and we're going to have
I could be the judge.
Gestures.
I could be the judge.
Yeah, you can be the judge, and we'll be the morons basically just trying to make a story where there isn't.
Because you're absolutely right. He could have had conversations about him, but he may not have gotten the phone calls.
That's true.
You guys are going to so regret having me play this game.
I never regret you, ever. All
right, let me have another one.
Anywhere. John Lynch, San Francisco 49ers GM, when asked if he expects Trey Lance to be on the roster next season, said...
Is it accurate to say your expectation is Trey Lance is going to be on the roster throughout the 2000s?
Yeah, absolutely. I expect Trey to be here. And, we're excited about Trey's ability to compete and what he can do for our franchise, just as we were when we drafted Trey. And I think the only thing that's changed this offseason is that Trey's gone and got himself healthy. He was injured last year. He's done a really good job of doing that. He's done some different things in terms of his training this offseason. He's very encouraged by that. And we'll see when we get an opportunity to get out there on the field with him. But we have every reason to be encouraged as well.
We are excited about Trey, lying season or not.
Well, the question, if the question is, are you excited about Trey? Lying. How does that one go? GTFOH.
Lying season.
Lying season. Now, do you expect him to be there? The answer, probably, if we could have gone into his brain, was, yeah, I expect him to be here, but I'm hoping that if we're having this conversation, I can encourage other people to call me so he's not here. What is the word kids today use? Oh, manifesting. You know, kids today, and I'm saying kids, but I think grown-ups use it as well, which is he's trying to manifest perhaps Trey not being there. Although, you know what? Maybe he does want Trey to be there because, after all, they gave up umpteen picks to get him. And maybe they want to be proven smart that he stays and he plays well and they can prove that their picks were well used. But if the question were, are you excited about Trey being here? GTFOH.
Right. Well put.
Well, by the way, if the question was, are you glad you gave up all those first-round picks to get him? Double GTFOH.
Chris, thoughts?
TJ, you've been to the club, right? You've been to the club back in the day. They walk around. They have these giant signs, right? And you can put whatever on it. It's like "Happy Birthday" or whatever. You know, Deebo Samuel, come to wherever, and he was just like, eh. John Lynch is basically in the club right now, holding up a sign that says, "Please, someone call me and make me an offer for Trey Lance. I can't wait to get rid of this guy. Great kid. We met at the Super Bowl. Love him. I want to root for him." There's no way he's the 49er quarterback next year. This is it's not even a little white lie. What is big fat blue whale lie? Because that's what John Lynch is doing right now.
Well, there you go. When you're saying
change all the time, I'm expected to drive home, but I could stop at the ice cream store. You know what I mean? Like expectations always change.
Ice cream?
I got one. John Lynch not telling the truth here.
Okay, and I think we're saying the same thing because you said it much more.
Yes.
In a much more erudite fashion. You said it much more clearly than I did, that he's trying to generate phone calls.
Yeah, generate some buzz.
And I was saying, you know, the kids today say he's trying to manifest that he'll be elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because, look, they would love to get back some of that capital that they gave up to get him.
I don't know what club they were going to, but the clubs I went to didn't have big signs walking around. But that's okay. That's a whole other conversation about the past. And the past is in the past.
And I do love that none of you thought I ever went to a club.
That's honestly, that's for a podcast. We'll save that one for later.
I went right to TJ. I know TJ was living that club life in the aughts, so I just had to go to him.
That's a clip and save, TJ. We'd call that a clip and save, don't you think?
Is that what that is?
It's a clip and save.
Okay.
Last one, Amy.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is hot off the presses. Brian Gutekunst says, the Packers GM says, the Packers are not rebuilding. Amy.
How do you kind of view what this team is and is becoming through this process right now? Is it fair to say you're rebuilding?
No, I don't ever look at it like that. You know, we're excited about this football team and where it can go. Obviously, we're a long ways away from what our 53-man roster and our 16-man practice squad is going to look like. But we're really excited about it. It's going to be new, obviously, specifically at quarterback, it looks like. But at the same time, the goals don't change around here. It's going to be the same goals we've always had, right? There's one goal here every single year, no matter what. And just like it was back in the last time we moved on from one quarterback to the other, right? The goals are the same. And it's going to be on those guys to put in the work, and it's going to be exciting to see. But, nothing's really changing.
Yeah, only you no longer have a future Hall of Fame quarterback. Amy Trask, lying season or not?
I'm not going to do Jennifer Lawrence disservice by trying to emulate the meme of her where she winks and says, okay, because I couldn't do it. But that's what I'm thinking. Look, one of two things. Either he is just lying or he really believes what he's saying. And yes, the Packers did move on from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and Packer fans should always be thrilled with the fact that they had about 30 seasons of phenomenal quarterbacking. We don't know what Jordan Love is going to be yet, but to suggest that they're not going to be growing and I don't know the exact words, growing pains or rebuilding. The Jennifer Lawrence meme came to mind. He's either not telling the truth or he really, really believes that. And by the way, for him to say every team has the goal of winning every year, yeah, we get it. That's every team's goal. It doesn't make it a realistic goal.
That's like one game at a time, basically. So we're calling that maybe like a little white lie?
Or hope?
Or just craziness?
Maybe it's either a little white lie or he really believes it, in which case you just kind of want to give him a hug.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
Thank you, Mikey, and thank you, Sean Mitchell, for these fantastic
I don't think
graphics.
I'm good at this game because I revert all the way to law school and my legal training, and I want to parse I don't think to anyone watching or listening, I don't think they're ever going to ask me to play this game again.
No, I told you, we already are going to TM this, and you're already the gavel.
I want to be the judge.
But when I want to have something, like fiery, I go to the guy from New England and say, Chris, what do you think about this?
Oh, and I'll just tell you exactly what I think.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on.
Hey, how are you today?
Building? What are we talking about?
This is
Jordan
stupid.
Love
Of course
has
they are.
no idea how to play quarterback. Like, he's out there, he's running around. It was terrible in the one game he played. His mom was sitting in the very last row. She couldn't even see. Thank God she couldn't see because he was awful. And he's going to get out there. They're going to be in the run. I'm going to say this right now. The Packers will have a top 5 pick next year, and they're going to be in the running for one of these guys. Drake May, Caleb Williams, who knows? Some guy we've never even heard of right now. No one was talking about Will Levis this time last year, and now he could be the number 1 pick. This is where the Packers are going to be next year.
A compelling argument, counselor. That was a very compelling argument. I am now going to shift to lying.
See, I look at this different then. I'm going to take a different approach. The fact is, if he agrees that they're in rebuilding mode, then that would also mean that he hadn't been doing his job in the time that he's had this position. So therefore, the question is, do you believe he's telling the truth? I do believe he's telling the truth, because for him to say, yeah, we're rebuilding, would mean that he also knew that he did something wrong or he didn't do his job to the fullest. So that's why I kind of believe he's telling the truth there.
Which is kind of like the same thing as tap dancing, which is kind of like saving his neck. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh,
here,
that's
TJ?
a good one. Tap dancing should be another category.
We call it covering your hind end.
CYA.
Covering your tuchus?
Cover your
CYA.
ass.
That's another good category.
CYA. Took me a minute. I went there.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.